I'm Bill, I'm with Cali Moto TV. Welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the garage, and welcome back to the 2023 BMW M1000R. And today we are going to be walking you guys through how to remove the wheels on your S Series bike. Now, most dealers and most shops are gonna charge you upwards of $100+ per wheel to bust them off your bike and change your tires. Today I'm gonna walk you guys through doing the labor, busting the wheels off of the bike, getting them to take down to the shop, and my shop locally charges me only $25 to change tires off of the bike. Now, while we're doing that, we're gonna be adding the chain adjusters by Manny over at Moto Million. Huge thank you and huge shout out. Now, I have these on my double R, and it just changes your life as far as chain adjustment. Now, I change tires a lot, especially the rear, and these chain adjusters are just gonna make your life so much easier. So, without further ado, let's get the chesty cam on. You're gonna need just a few tools. I'm gonna walk you through everything you need to bust the tires off, get them over to the tire shop, get your new tires on, and back on the road in no time. So, let's get the chesty cam on and get to work. All right, so let's walk through everything you're gonna need to remove your wheels. Let's start with the back. First, you're gonna need a 1/2" ratchet or a 1/2" breaker bar. I would prefer a breaker bar. I'm gonna be using an impact gun to remove only, not put back on, because we're gonna be using the torque wrench to put back on. You'll need a 34mm for the rear axle nut, and you're gonna need 2 wrenches, a 13 and 10mm for these chain adjusters, and then we'll go ahead and find out what this is gonna need once we get there. In the front, if you guys don't have this, get this. This is Motion Pro's front axle nut, basically removal tool. We need a 24mm, and what's nice about this is it just slides in the front axle and pulls it off. You'll see how it works. And then you're also gonna need a T45 and a 3/8 ratchet. Remember, a 34mm socket for the rear. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and loosen up the 13mm bolts on both sides. So we're just gonna basically push those in and repeat that on the other side. Then what you're gonna do is you're gonna go ahead and just take your 10mm and start working this in, and you can go ahead and just get this wound all the way in. So basically we're just kind of moving this adjuster all the way in on both sides. Okay, once the adjuster bolts are all the way in, what you're gonna do is go ahead and take your 34mm and impact wrench or whatnot, and you're going to remove this outer bolt. And you'll see once we get it all the way loose, and once loose, you'll remove the bolt, you'll remove the washer and the spacer. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna start pushing this axle through. Not all the way yet, but you're gonna come to the other side, and you're gonna notice that the axle and the spacer is popped out. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna use both hands, and we're gonna grab the wheel, pull this out, be careful of our brake, and we're gonna finagle this, so we'll see how the brake comes off, and pull the tire off. It's really actually that simple. All right, so we're gonna grab the wheel, we're gonna grab the axle, slide out the axle all the way, go ahead and set it down, and then we're gonna grab our brake, and we're gonna not let it hit the wheel. Now, once it's off of the brake pad, this will slide, or excuse me, off the brake disc. This will slide forward, and we'll just come out, and we'll set this to the side. And over here, we're gonna grab our chain from the bottom and remove the chain from the sprocket and pop out our wheel. And once we've got our wheel out, we can grab our sprocket and set it aside. And on this side, there is a spacer. We're gonna pop out the spacer. Don't forget this spacer. Leave this spacer here. And then flip this around, and I would grab these little rubber cushions out of here. If they come out, if they don't come out, like these don't come out, they're fine. So this wheel is removed, ready to be taken in for a new tire. Okay, so to remove the front tire, you're gonna have to remove the brake caliper. Don't try to take the front wheel off without removing the brake caliper. I would also recommend removing the ABS sensor, or be careful because the ABS sensor pops out of the back. So I'm very careful when I pull it off, but you might wanna take this off as in addition to removing the calipers on both sides. So go ahead and grab your 45 millimeter, and I've already broken these loose. So you're gonna remove both bolts and remove the calipers. Okay, with both calipers removed and out of the way, now we're going to come down to our axle pinch bolts. Now these are also 45 millimeters, and you're going to loosen only this side. So if you're looking at the bike, the left side of the bike. If you're looking at the bike, the left side. We're going to keep these in for now. So we're just gonna go ahead and loosen these completely up so that they're nice and loose. Okay, so with the pinch bolts removed, you're gonna grab your Motion Pro adapter, 24 millimeters, and both hands, you're gonna go ahead and loosen the axle. So go ahead and just pull the axle all the way out. Okay, so with the axle all the way loose, you're gonna go ahead and just grab the wheel and pull the axle completely out. And here comes the wheel. Now on the wheel, we're gonna have no spacers on either side. The spacers are built in, and we're not going to mess with this side pinch bolts or axles. We're gonna leave those in and only remove this one side, okay? So now we are ready to take our wheels over and get them mounted and balanced. All right, guys, here we have our brand new set of Michelin Power Cup 2s installed onto our wheels. And so now we're going to remount them. While you're here, go ahead and clean up your wheels. I ceramic coated them with a little bit of ceramic coat spray just to kind of keep the dust off. But what you want to do is your tire shop should have marked your tires in the correct direction. You can see actually my Michelin guy put the Michelin, but on your tires you'll see that there is an arrow that points to which direction the tires go in. Also, your front tire and rim, your ABS sensor will always be on the right when you're looking at the bike. So this is this way. So we're gonna go ahead and grab our tire and slide it in past our fender. And we're gonna go ahead and grab our axle nut, or our axle. And this is our first time, so it's actually kind of lubed up already. Typically I would clean this and re-lube it, but the first time I usually don't. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pick up the rim and slide this right in, right through the wheel, all the way in. And you'll see over here that it's gone all the way through, and now it's ready to be tightened. So we'll take our Motion Pro 24 millimeter in here, and we'll go ahead and get this wheel nice and tightened. Okay, with the axle all the way in and almost snug, you're gonna take your torque wrench, set it to 37 pound-feet of torque, and get the axle in there and get this tightened down to 37. And then we're gonna go ahead and take our torque wrench and we're going to tighten down our pinch bolts here to 14 pound-feet of torque. And remember, we're only having to do this one side. This side we never touched. Don't touch this side, there's no need to. So we're gonna go ahead and tighten this up to, go ahead and set this down to 14 pound-feet of torque. Okay, and once we're tightened down, we can go ahead and grab our caliper now. And we're gonna go ahead and slide this gently past the wheel. Don't hit the wheel, guys. And right onto the brake rotor. Get it into its seat, and then go ahead and thread in your bolts. And you're going to torque these down to 28 pound-feet of torque. All right, now we're to the rear, and we're going to install our TWM chain adjuster. Now, we go ahead and pull out the stock chain adjuster, and we're gonna grab our mounts out of here. Hi, Vixen. Hi. And you're going to see that there's two little mounting plates in here with some mounting instructions. So basically, pretty easy to do. What you're going to do is you're going to take your mounting brackets here, right and left, and you're going to install it into here along with your mount. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get everything mounted up and everything set in there, and then we'll walk through how it all got set up and everything. All right, so onto the axle adjusters and the install. Fairly easy, really easy actually. You're just gonna slide it in and you're gonna grab, they provide you a new bolt here. Actually, we're gonna go put a little bit of Loctite on there just to be safe. We don't want this thing coming off, so just one dab of Loctite, and then go ahead and slide it into the swing arm. And then go ahead and grab your 5mm Allen. And actually, let's go ahead and get this moved back out. So we've got some room to work here. And we've not secured the back yet. So we're gonna go ahead and get this front hand tightened up. And then once you've done that, you're gonna go ahead and take actually your locking bracket for the back here. And there's two more bolts. We're gonna go ahead and put a dab of Loctite on both of these bolts. Just again, we just want to make sure that we're not coming out. Use blue, don't use red, you guys. Slide these through here. So as those threaded through, we're going to go ahead and start getting it lined up in the back. And the bolt started. Same 5mm bolt as this one. All right, and we'll get those nice and snug. And you're all mounted. This thing's not moving anywhere except for the chain adjuster, which is perfect. So we're going to go ahead and pull this chain adjuster back quite a bit, just to kind of get the axle, or no, we want to go forward. So we want to go all the way forward. So we want to move this all the way in here on both sides so that the chain can go on, and then we can pull the wheel back. All right, so now we're ready to mount the back wheel. The chain adjusters are in on both sides. Don't forget your spacer on the right hand side, looking at the bike. You're going to put the spacer over here. Over here, you're going to put your sprocket carrier, your sprocket and sprocket carrier. And this is where it comes in, and I can't help you with this because this is my biggest weak point, and that's the finagling of getting the brake on, which needs to slide in that little area right there with this slide. So you're going to slide that in, and then you've got to get the chain on over here. And then you've got to take your axle, no bud, and then you're going to slide your axle in over there. So let's go ahead and start to kind of get everything lined up, and then we'll come back and show you once we're ready to slide the axle all the way through. Okay, so we got the wheel on. The biggest finagle is back here, the brake, getting the brake on the rotor and in the slide adjuster. So the slide's right there. Make sure it's in there. And then obviously the pad's got to spread to get on the rotor. Chain and sprockets on over here. So we're basically set. So we're gonna grab our axle. Come on, Vixen. Grab our axle. I like to just take a little bit of mallet and just kind of slide it through. Now once we get to the other end, we're gonna slow down. And we're gonna twist this because you're gonna get the sides are gonna line up in there, and we're gonna pull this up and get it through there. Okay, so we've got our wheel on, we've got our axle all the way through, and we've adjusted the chain adjuster. I'm at about 8.5, and I like the chain play. So I'm about 8.5 on both sides. That's the other thing that's really nice about this, is it allows you to line the wheel up correctly, right? Because if you've got too loose or too loose over here and too much over here, and with the factory marks, you really can't tell. The bike can pull one way or the other. So you really want to make sure it's nice and straight. And that's what's nice about these, is because of the markings, you can see clear over here, is the markings set it down, and you can get it nice and adjusted. So the wheel's on. You can see this is seated through. And over here, we're going to go ahead and grab our washer and our nut, and we're gonna go down to 100 Newton meters. All right, guys, there we have it. The wheels are back on the M1000R. I'm not gonna sugarcoat the rear wheel. It's a pain in the butt to get on, but remember how much money you guys are saving. So invest in some tools and get the rear wheel, or the wheels off. Now, I change my wheels every couple months because obviously I go to the track. So this is gonna be a huge difference. This is also a very nice addition to have. I have it on the S1000RR. And so very nice to have these chain adjusters, and the front wheel's all done. While you're here, clean and lube your chain. I always do it while I'm changing my rear wheel. And also while I was at it, you BMW M1000R owners, this is a pain in the ass that they give you a keyless and a keyed gas cap. So when you're over at Manny, over at Moto Million, and you guys are buying the chain adjuster, invest in a gasless or a keyless gas cap. It's like a must, you guys. So there it is, the M1000R is all set and ready to go to the track. We're heading out there in just a few days. So you guys probably won't see a couple videos because it's been raining here in California. But we've got, actually, you might see some stuff coming with the Brentoon. I'm basically gonna get this on the lift right now. We're tearing the gas tank off. We're gonna be putting the velocity stacks, air filter, and tune all in. So stay tuned. Make sure you guys do the normal. Hit the subscribe button, smash the like button, and then ring the bell notification. Bell notification is gonna give you future notification of future content here on the M1000R. But thank you guys for sticking around, and we'll see you next video. Bye, guys.